So, all right, we have me, we have Bruce, and we have Aline, and I know that definitely Leanne is not coming today. Okay, I'm sorry. At first, I'd like to call this meeting to order at 6:32. Thank you all for coming tonight. Although I know many of us enjoy being in the air conditioning. Shirley is here and Jim is here. Would anybody like to move to approve the minutes of July 11th?
I'll move that.
I'll second that.
Okay. Is there any discussion or changes to the minutes?
Anything?
Nope.
Okay, I've been being a little more brief. All right, so it's been moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye, great. That's easy. I'll ask Andrew this when he gets here. Anybody has received or sent any communications that they want to alert us to? It can also come under any different unfinished business as well. Or nothing?
Mhm.
Okay. All right, unfinished business. Guess who's the first person
Oh,
once again?
Torture me, huh?
Yeah, well, I will,
Oh,
hi, hi.
Interesting trip here.
Yeah, I guess so. So 6:33, Andrew. Let's see. All right, thank you both for coming. Welcome. All right. We just approved the minutes and we have had no communications thus far unless you guys have anything to add.
Just a very interesting one. I was at the shopping center. I don't know if you want to wait or not, but I'll just say it. And I got into a conversation with a very nice lady that lives somewhere down this way. And we talked about briefly Groton. And I said, if you had one thing that you would want to see improved, what would it be? And because we got into like a 10-minute conversation, and she actually was kind of like exactly what you said. And I was shocked because I thought, the whole town, but they really a lot of people want where the sign is, they want that expanded to kind of really get that gateway going that way.
That's okay.
So
Both ways?
that kind of both
On
ways,
either side?
east and west, and kind of to, and I just went by there and some of that brush could probably be cut back. And then if there was anything in the future, she had suggested some type of fencing. So when you come in, you see the sign and then it expands east and west. And I don't know how that would be put into an actual budget for that with beautification, but that's something that she mentioned. I can't remember. I think her name was Christine. I don't have her last name. Very nice lady, but that was one of the things that she had mentioned. So when people come into the town, they would see that as a kind of a rotten.
Yes.
I think the signage itself is so good that people are now looking at it and saying, "Oh, what's this mean?"
Yeah,
Groton School Board. So
yeah.
it's becoming effective a little bit.
Yeah, my husband and I went there on Sunday and there was that funny grass. It's all underground. I don't know what it's called. It looks like some kind of sedge almost. But we went and weeded it and deadheaded. And while we were out there, the gentleman who lives and there had been a number of trees and shrubs removed. And it was all kind of laying there dying. And the gentleman who lived right behind there, he came over and he was so nice. He's like, "Hi," his name is Will. And he says he wants to put a fence behind that in his area because he's got a dog and a very young child. And I said, well, that would be great. It's very nicely marked where the property line is. I
think we should work with him in picking an appropriate fence, one that's not, as long as it's gonna get done, might as well be done nicely.
Well, yeah, but fencing right now is very, very expensive. I asked him, would he be hiring someone to do it himself? He said, do it himself. So, yeah, so it's, I have a neighbor in my, near where I live who just spent a lot of money, on on
Just
fence.
right behind the signage.
Right behind, we were behind the sign, because we'd gotten all the weeds in the front. We thought, oh, there's not that many here, and then behind the sign, it was quite big. So we were doing that, and he was a nice young man, came over and introduced himself and said he sometimes water the plants. Some of the trees look fine. Some of the perennials were obviously, struggling. Except for the daisies. The daisies, we will not be able to kill them once they're there. So, and my husband and I, we have an inkberry that was removed from the Water Street public bathroom in Mystic. I said, please don't throw that away. And so we have it at our house in a pot that I've been watering. Actually, the pot that Nancy got for the purchase, the very big pot that is owned by the Beautification Committee. We've got a beautiful little inkberry there, and we're trying to figure out where to put it, in which spot in the town. And actually, when we first planted that area, if you're looking at the sign to the right, we had cleared it all off, but there was no plants there, so they didn't mulch it. So my husband and I were looking at it saying, just limb up a little bit, remove that stuff. There was just weeds there now. That would be the perfect place for an inkberry. And then along the edge, I got lots of daisies, as you know, not right now, but I thought, well, we have an inkberry and we have a spot to put it. So we were thinking that would be nice. There's a gap between where the inkberry is going to be and where I think it's a privet behind there.
I've heard people have asked, why didn't we do heavier tree line? So I've heard from roughly, I'd say 4 or 5 ladies from Garden Club that have mentioned heavier tree line, and that who did we use to purchase the items from? So everyone has ideas.
Yeah, well, I would have, in hindsight, I was painted, I would have liked them to be more spread out. Because they're going to get quite large. So we could have spread them out a little bit more.
I think they were saying instead of spread out, they should have been closer together.
No, but these are huge arborvitae that are going to get huge. You have to give them enough space. So it'll take a little while.
The decision was made by your choice of planting, that you needed it spread apart.
I personally, me as a gardener would have spread them apart and more so that it would have, they eventually, right now they're closer together, but eventually they should grow together and it should be a solid wall. So.
And I forgot this part, I forgot to mention this. The lady that I talked to also did say that one of the things that she noticed throughout the town is that we've been talking about it. Everybody's been talking about it after we plant, is the maintenance. And that may be something we may have to, and I don't know how you want to do it, Cindy, is to put specifically on the agenda, maybe in September, to really have a discussion about how we're going to have the town work with us, with the highway department and the public works department, including the watering, when we put these grants in, how they're going to be administered. We did them kind of generally, including a lot of roads. Bruce worked hard on the other part with the arts, but the maintenance, I was excited though. I did see on 184, the public works was, I don't know if it was the state or the town. I guess the 184 is like the state road. They were actually out there picking up garbage. So I was excited about that.
Yep.
And
I did see that too. Right.
Equally
Okay.
excited, but this woman was concentrating on the maintenance that, we really want this for Groton, but how are we going to get on the administrative community side again to maintain and people
Well,
that are.
I think I would encourage that person to send an email to John Burton to the council, because I saw they have their priorities. And their priorities right now are sidewalks and roads and things like that. There was just on a week ago Saturday about this complete streets, which is a phenomenal idea. And sidewalks are phenomenal ideas. But those, when I was on RTM, we budgeted $200,000 a year for sidewalks. Now, and I'm not sure about how much these complete streets are going to cost. I think it's priorities. I don't believe that we don't have the money. I believe we don't have it's not a priority. So I think people, the town council and our town manager are very responsive, but they need to hear from people. Other than just me and you and the handful of people. They like to hear from residents and with very specific very specific ask and then a possible solution. And not, I'm discouraging complaining. I'm saying, let's identify and then give a possible solution.
And that would be, we had a short conversation about appointments and everything, but that brings into the segue of how are we going to, as a beautification committee, encourage and to move forward through our agendas for planning and zoning and economic development with the town council support and encouragement and the RTM backing for the funding of the money. That's something that we probably have to discuss later, but that's something that I'm hearing from people, like, how are we going to do this? How are we going to fund it? Why aren't we doing it?
Yeah.
Go to an RTM meeting and a town council meeting. There's other priorities too that they have to do, like
Right.
sewer upgrades and things like that. Right now, the school buildings were the priority at finally
Right.
passed and all that.
Well, so I think that would be, if you would like me to put that on our agenda for next month under new business, because that sounds like a topic, but I think it really comes down to priorities. I spoke with a person who works in the planning department and she says, I've worked for poor towns. This is not a poor town. It's their priorities. And I think it doesn't cost a lot of money. I'm happy to really work on gardens, but I'm not going to maintain.
Right.
None of us need to
You
maintain.
don't want to get burned out with that, because
Yeah.
we should be a lead committee that's recommending for these types of projects and having some of the bulk sales on the art projects. They're donated and a little bit of money towards that. But the planning and zoning ultimately and the economic development is going to determine what type of businesses we have here, along with the residential outlook in nature. If we want to maintain Southeastern Connecticut, Groton area as a nice place to live, not just to work.
Right.
And by living here, it's a bunch of other things, but beautification goes right into what are we going to be planting to make people want to walk up those sidewalks? We talked about that.
Right.
If they're going to put a sidewalk up to the subbase, where are you going to walk and sit down?
Right.
What are we properties?
Right, but that's a
know.
very big ask. Nancy, did you have a comment?
I'm just wondering when we're going to become a line item in the budget, be part of the budget development, that we are a committee of the town and we should be in the budget.
Let's talk about that. I actually have, I didn't put it in there, but I in my own handwriting, 6.4 budget. So we can talk about that then. That's okay. All right, well, thank you very much. We were moving on to murals. It's been a challenging time, hasn't it?
Well, I've had communication with all of our prospective artists. And Rachel Miller has demurred and decided not to become part of our project. That she doesn't think we're going to pay her enough money. There's more to it than that, I think. I asked her to put together a rendering. And I told her I really want it done so that it looks exactly like it's going to be on the wall that she was going to be set up for. Because what she gave us in a painting was very rough,
Right.
extremely rough.
Right, but don't you think that was
So,
because she didn't want to?
And we looked at some of it,
Yeah.
Dana and I looked at some of her other stuff,
Uh-huh.
and it was, we gave her a lot of directions of how it could come out. Because
Uh-huh.
I don't want us to be embarrassed, and I certainly don't want me to be embarrassed by
Yes.
what happened. So anyway, she decided that it was going to be too much for her.
Uh-huh.
The other fella, Kevin Baccio,
Uh-huh.
I can't get a hold of him. He won't reply to me. Text wise, he has a mailbox that's never been set up. So all I can do is text him and call him and hope he picks up the phone. He doesn't. He's supposed to have gotten a rendering to us a couple weeks ago, more than a couple weeks ago. So I think that I just soon tell him to.
Let me interrupt 1 second.
Unless you have that
I texted him
communication.
today and I said, have you completed, he had sent a partial mural. It was kind of a photograph that he had added some art, some painting to, which had great promise, and he was doing it very quickly because I had never informed him that our dates had changed and that there was no way we were going to be able to get a mural on the wall before the beginning of June. So he had sent us something, but that was what, end of May, beginning of June. So we hadn't heard from him. And so he said he would try to finish that up and send it to you and me. That was just today. And he was very responsive to my text. Yeah, but yeah, we keep talking about this, but I feel like,
Did he reply to you?
yeah, he
What
did.
he say?
He said he would work on it and get it to us in the next couple days, you and me. He would get it to share it with you and me.
What's the location? Is that the one gonna be active?
Unbelievable. I
Yeah.
mean, it's really unbelievable.
So, but
Okay, well, we'll wait a couple days and see what happens. And he's the only one who looks like that has agreed to do it for $3,000. The composition he gave us was not good. It cannot, I would never let that go up on a wall. He's
well, it
got
wasn't
to-
finished.
he's
It
got to
wasn't
do better.
finished. And he did say, he actually specifically said, I'm going to add in the things that Bruce mentioned
Okay.
to me.
That would
Okay,
make it
so he
okay.
remembers that, okay? So that would be good. So
Thank
maybe
you.
we'll get, something.
Have we decided on a particular, or that's still in the works, what
What?
we're going to actually have for the mural yet? Because I know
We-
there was a lot of pictures going around.
well, no, we haven't, but we haven't received a
Okay.
picture to look at.
Oh,
and
okay,
decide-
got it. I
to
was-
This
decide
is-
upon.
I'm like,
This
did I
is a-
miss something?
Andy, this is a representational piece. This is not an abstract thing at
Good,
all.
good.
So because it's representational, you need things that evoke some sort of interest in when people look at it, you know?
Yeah.
You just can't take a photograph, which is what he wanted to do, and make that a mural.
Well,
I
right.
mean, it
we
was
had
just,
one.
it was just water. And in the background, you could see, Bluff Point.
Right, but then he colored in part of it, like he had a beautiful sky. Anyways, I liked it
Not
better
enough.
than you did.
Just
Yeah,
not
yeah,
enough.
yeah, yeah.
So another thing is, it seems now that we are having a little bit of a problem really getting an artist. So I do have I don't know what number it would be, a third or fourth person that would be interested, but I did not bring them forward because I was told, no, we had artists.
Well, here's what I'd
So
like to
just
do
keep
with
that in the
that.
back burner and I can possibly get that person.
Here's what I'd
He's
like to
done
do with
murals in the
that.
Philippines.
We've been handling this the wrong way. I've been going at it with people that have been recommended to me.
Uh-huh,
That's not how you put a project like this
Yeah.
together.
Yeah.
You do a call for artists.
Yeah.
They respond.
yeah.
Now, the only problem with that is we don't really have enough money to pay somebody good.
Well,
So
but-
we
but-
have to
but-
kind of
so
take
could we-
what is
Could we
there.
do it smaller? Could we do a smaller chunk, I mean, certainly $3,000 to me. Maybe we don't do the entire side. Maybe we do a piece of it.
Well, that's what I suggested to Rachel, actually,
Uh-huh,
that we do a smaller part,
Uh-huh.
not that whole wall,
yeah,
just a small part.
Yeah. uh-huh.
And, but with the Baccio thing, with the market over there, you've got to do 8 by 25 and 25 feet. 25 feet is not a big deal. And 8 feet high, that's the only section of that wall that you can really do.
Okay, wait, is that the entire
No,
wall building of?
No, that's just a short section of it up to the window.
Okay.
If you go by it, you'll see what I mean. So
Yeah,
that's,
so 8 by 25 feet.
yeah,
So
So-
maybe that's, so originally when we're talking with Jamie and it was all falling into place and we all really liked his work and that was all working. We didn't do a call for artists because it's like, oh, this guy's gonna work.
but he was gonna do it for nothing.
Yes, but we had $3,000 put aside for
Right.
paint. And you had specifically said, I don't want to paint an artist, nothing. But the thing was about him is he was like trying to give back to the community because
Yeah.
Groton's given so much to him.
Yeah.
So I didn't ask him to do it for free. He offered. So,
No, I know.
and he did, we all liked his work. And when that kind of fell apart, yeah, maybe we do need this.
He's the one that suggested Kevin.
He did,
Yeah.
yes.
Right now versus volunteer effort donation versus budgetary, because we missed that budget because we couldn't get the right
Yep,
artist at the right place, at the right time and all that. So now we have so much money in the general fund, is that correct?
Correct.
Okay, So if we want to do something, we should do it right. Okay, so we're projecting now springtime. So the budget, it's sitting in the budget this year. It's hopefully not going to be taken away. And hopefully that is something that some of these projects just take more time than others. So if we can work on that this fall, then by right after the new year, if we decide the type of mural, the artist, what the pay range is, we could go back and try to get that one. Now, that's what I think we should do at this point, instead of trying to rush something in. If you wanted to get a smaller project for a lesser amount, I'm good for that too. To just start to show the community that we are already doing these things. We've got a sculpture at the library. We've got plantings throughout the town. We've done a lot. People love it and they want more. They want more, more, more. And that's one of the things Leanne was saying. They really enjoy it. They want it. But it takes time to do it, and it takes time to do it right. And you've done a phenomenal job. And you've done a phenomenal job. And you're doing a phenomenal job.
But,
Well, I have some more.
okay.
I did get the okay from CVS headquarters.
Did you?
Oh,
Wow,
There.
Bruce,
The
congratulations.
good news is I have the okay. The bad news is I don't have anybody to do it.
Right,
I don't
right.
have any money to pay anybody.
Right,
Or we, I should say.
right, right.
Want me to bring a third artist? I can talk
Has
to them.
And we need, we can't do it.
Did we ever go to Westerly and investigate
Yes, I have.
all the artists that were in that particular? And have
Yes, I
we
have.
contacted any of them?
No, I have not.
I mean, those are wonderful in my mind.
But that was the wall dogs, right? Which is, you have to book them way out, and that was
It's not, those
hundreds of
people are
thousands of
well
dollars.
beyond what we have to
You
pay for now.
never know. Again, you never
They
know.
may
what-
want to come to Connecticut.
Yeah, I do. I checked into some of those prices.
There is a local man who I put his name out several times, who kind of organizes these people. He is a sign maker, professional sign maker, and a muralist himself, but he knows this, group of people who do murals, many who do it free because they're trying to get their name out. So we
Right.
just need to contact somebody who has done this before, who's organized.
Right,
muralists.
and that's Cam, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. So I think I gave, a long time ago, I had a list of people, and he was on there.
He's been up, he's on that list.
He's a local guy, right?
Local,
Yeah, yeah.
I know.
Yeah, you know him?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, he, I guess, did something with the wall dogs, and he continues to.
He knows
do a
those
lot of
people. You don't have to
Yeah.
do the wall dogs.
Yeah.
You can do something similar by bringing people together and having us choose, organize the whole process. Get people to give us, an idea of what they propose and kind of organize the meetings. I mean, he thinks it's a whole process to go through. We're not necessarily. I know, yeah, I can.
If that's, the
Okay,
committee
yeah.
wants to go that direction with Bruce, maybe if you can't get that artist,
get him.
try to.
Well,
fix it.
no,
I think we should
I'll
meet
tell
with
you,
him. I think we should meet with him and
here's
find
how
out.
I feel about it. I want to put out a call to artists. And I want people to respond to me. I don't want to go looking for anybody anymore because I've had poor success doing that. So I want, but you're not going to get any artists to reply unless you got some real money involved here.
So what's real money?
He does not
I-
agree with that. He does not agree with it. He says there are plenty of people out there who would do it just to get the notoriety, to get the publicity. If you'll put that on their Facebook page or whatever, social media, that they would do it. There are people that are talented locally who would do it.
I've got to tell you, Missy, I'm not interested in going looking for people to see if they have the ability to put these things
But I
up.
think-
I want to talk to people who've done
Is
something.
that what he
And-
does?
I think Cam can do that.
That's what he
Cam can
does.
guide us. Say.
Is there a way to invite this person to talk to the?
Yeah, I had
group?
That's what I
suggested
was
that,
thinking,
that we
yeah.
invite him. He offered to come also.
Which meeting
Okay.
do you think would be a good timeline, Bruce, to have a call to come to the meeting, maybe 3 or 4 people and present their case, present their idea?
Yeah,
What they're-
that's not gonna happen. We haven't
What's
been
that?
able to
I'm
get,
sorry, I
it
didn't
to
hear that.
have
Why
3 or
don't you
4
have a
people come and
call?
present. Oh, after a call, after a call.
How do you put out a call? How
You-
does that work?
There are groups that you can contact that are pretty well known, really. And you can put it out through the state of Connecticut too. They're all tied in to that kind of thing.
Have you done that before for anything, for sculpture, anything?
I haven't done it here,
Okay,
but I know how it's done where I spend the winter in Florida. That's what they do. And they get, they do get local people.
Yeah,
It's not as though you don't have local people,
Yeah.
but they're people that are kind of tried and true.
yeah.
But like with the CVS thing, then that's a big deal.
So I would think that we could put in something like that, that we have $3,000, and if we get no one, then we have to up it, but we don't, I'll go over what we have in the budget, but we don't have a ton of money, so if
No, I know.
we can go and ask the council for more money, but we have to have a very specific product. And if somebody isn't even willing to come and talk to us for $3,000, then we will, I think, have to relook at what we're planning to spend. And then we can talk about it as a committee, what we think we want to spend on this one thing.
Is the town still planning their mural on
Yes, they are.
Fitch buildings?
Yeah.
I mean, have we talked with who they're contacting?
I don't think they have.
They haven't gotten anybody
Yeah.
yet. I have seen the contract
Right.
that they put together for somebody. It is unbelievably dense. And it's several pages. That's way beyond what I had given them. This is for the city, for the
Yeah, this is a
town now.
contract, we're
So
talking.
they're gonna be paying
contract.
a lot more for somebody to do a mural, probably in the area of $15,000, I would say. That's generally what this would cost to do the size and what they want to do for one. So that contract is, that's the kind of contract you use for a developer. It's that tight. The ones that I had given them are gonna be between the town and the muralist and the business owner.
Right.
Quite a bit different than what they're doing for the town. I mean, it's
Yeah.
much less involved. The town ultimately takes responsibility for the mural, but that's all. I mean, we put together the money and all that sort of thing for them and provide the artists and so forth. The committee actually does the work. The town kind of is backup. Whereas with the project they have going with the schools, they're directly involved in it because it's a school building. We're not using school buildings, we're using private property. So it's
Right.
quite a bit different.
Yeah.
So I have not heard back from the town with regard to what I gave them.
No, I sent you
Yeah,
the.
we did, but we don't have the actual documents in hand. All we have is that John Burt said he was going to get together with the legal people and put something together that would work for the town, giving money to a
No, but then,
business through
remember
us.
then he said that, John said, work directly with this lawyer. Our committee is gonna work now directly with the lawyer. We don't both have to go through John anymore.
Yeah.
Remember, that was the guy who,
Right, right.
anyways,
So is that something that we can, at this point, bring before the next committee meeting so we can look at that? Because if we're gonna be voting to do this, I want to kind of see what we're agreeing to. We should have a
Well,
copy of that.
oh, yeah. Well, once,
Okay.
if we have a copy, everybody, I don't really want to discuss it. I gotta tell you, that is, I certainly can get it out to everybody.
However, we need to look at it.
Yeah, but
because we
that's-
Need to know
yeah.
where we're going with this and the monies are spent from the town, that they authorize.
right,
the council. to
right.
You know,
But I also don't want to make it so complicated that we can't get it done.
Right.
So you would like, I believe that it would be fine for you to make a call for artists, but I really believe we need to stick with the $3,000 amount to start.
Well, I'm not adverse to doing that at all on the particular project that we're dealing with right
Uh-huh.
now.
Yeah,
That's fine.
Okay.
I think we can get somebody, whether it's Kevin or somebody else, to
Okay.
do that
okay,
and come up with something pretty decent if he
Uh-huh.
follows some of the
Yeah.
suggestions.
yeah,
But going forward on some of these other things,
uh-huh,
gonna be a problem.
okay, all right,
And we can also, I can talk to Cam.
Yeah.
I don't have his number immediately, but I haven't seen him in a few years, actually. And we can see what,
you have his contact. you
Westerly
can get
has to
Bruce.
do.
I mean, I have his contact I have a list.
Yeah, I can call him also, but I think what we need to do is set up a meeting with him and maybe a couple of committee members here and just kind of, I think
Well,
that's-
Dana's
that's-
been working closely with Bruce. But you,
Who?
Dana,
Oh, Dana.
yeah. You
Yeah,
know,
Dana's pretty much out of the picture though, because of all her duties. I run everything by Dana because I want another opinion on what I tell these
Uh-huh.
guys. And,
okay.
you know, for instance, the picture that Rachel gave us last time, I want to make
But I
sure.
thought that she was saying that she's home a little bit more now. She's a little more available.
Supposed to get a change of meeting night.
Yeah, she is. She is. In fact, I've been over to her house and we've
Okay.
discussed this.
Okay,
So I'm hoping that,
Oh.
it will work out
This
more.
gentleman, It's like a call for artists. He's linked to artists.
Yeah, yeah.
So.
thank you, Missy.
Yeah.
should
We should take
use
advantage of them.
Right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah,
It's like
yeah,
a
'cause
broker.
if we can get an artist, we have the spot, we have the money. If somebody will do it for that much and can put something
You know
out there
what
that's
what we
attractive.
could do is we could put out a call for artists specifying that particular project with that amount of money and see what happens.
Yep,
Now,
Yeah.
when you say, what, do you want like a publicized type thing, or are you
It's,
saying?
you make it a public kind of a thing,
so
yeah.
like the state committee, blah, blah, blah.
I don't put it in the paper, but I mean, we put it out in places where artists would generally go to so that they can see it, you know, so you get a range of people that would apply.
Norwich just got a big grant for a big mural up there, so maybe we can approach Norwich, council or town council up there. They had.
There's one mural in Norwich that really looks good. It's on the bank building downtown. I don't know if you saw
I
it.
think I know which one, yeah,
on Chelsea
down-
Groton or another bank.
No, it's not
No.
Chelsea Groton. It's on the, I think they call it the old Shetucket Building or something like that. But anyway, it's right across from the courthouse. You know where the courthouse is?
People's,
Yes.
Norwich Savings.
Yes.
That building, that's sort of directly across,
Okay.
kind of kitty
And that's
corner.
new? That's new? That's a new, fairly new mural?
Relatively new,
Okay.
yeah.
I,
That's a good one. It's a big one. It's on
Yeah.
the side of a building.
yeah. I reached out, there was
Martin-
a,
I
there,
think it's Martin Luther King or somebody like that,
uh-huh,
but I mean, it's well done.
okay.
The rest of them are pretty shoddy.
Who was it that was working with Norwich and helped get all of this money? And she was working with us.
Oh, it was
Way
Cindy,
back when.
Cindy.
Wendy Berry.
Wendy Berry.
Wendy Berry. Is it too late to go back to Wendy and?
Wendy is busy and I don't know what I would ask her. What would I ask her?
They have a couple people in Norwich that, I think it's, London, that are just dealing with art stuff. I've contacted them. Haven't heard back from anybody that's given me any information.
Yeah,
They just said, hello, hi, how are you? Hope
Yeah.
things are going well,
I-
kind of stuff. you know.
I reached out to the person who wrote the article about the mural. Never heard a word back.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
that's
just,
kind of the way it is.
yeah, it's been, I was like, wow, okay. Because I wanted to find out, remember that they had mentioned there was something going on with Groton. I'm like, what's going on with Groton? I don't know what's going on with Groton.
So we can keep plugging at it. You know,
Okay.
So that's gonna be a little bit of a month to month as we do this for that.
Yeah, but we've been doing it for a long time. It would be so nice.
if we
if-
could get some of that grant money, that would solve a lot of problems right away.
Yes, right. Because now we have a number of different places. And then, yeah, get a little bit of publicity about that and we might have people seeking us out.
At least we know what's going
Thanks,
on
Miss.
now. It's a very hard process.
Yeah. Ooh, I thought it was gonna be so easy. That's what anyway. All right, moving on to adopt a garden. And this will also keep coming up. I have areas that I would like to adopt. These are gardens that are currently happening and I would like them to be taken care of. So I'm just gonna put it out there in hopes that anybody who's watching this meeting and wants to just, even if you don't want to be on the committee, if anybody would like to volunteer to work on a garden, they will contact me. Right now, we have a number of us working in downtown Mystic, so we've got that covered. The top of Fort Hill, right at the top of Fort Hill, where it comes into Groton Long Point Road, Sharon, who is not here today, Jim and myself have been working heartily on it. It's loaded with weeds, and we have a local landscaper, Chris Bates, has been adding beautiful plants, healthy plants that they don't look beautiful now. They look green. They will look beautiful in the spring.
Right.
So we have been working on that. I'm looking for somebody, or people's friends to come and work here at the Town Hall Annex doing some weeding. Sutton Park, Aline had been, watering that and put in annuals, which look phenomenal. Not sure that that's too easy because you've had your hip is, knee rather is, I know, very ouchy. So I know it might be nice to have somebody who could do some weeding and watering there.
And the help with that too.
Leanne has?
Yes.
Oh, awesome. And then we really haven't done much at the Avery Memorial recently. But I do know that we planted some beautiful azaleas and they did all bloom. It's a small step in the right direction. Shirley has been doing a lot. And I don't even have anything on the list like par 4 because Shirley takes care of it. And I want to thank you for that. It looks great. I drove by the other day and I had to be somewhere and there you were, weeding, watering, doing it all in front of par 4. So looks much better. And I've gotten some really good feedback from lots of different people who live in that area. So if anybody else would like to join a garden or has somebody who would like to do some gardening with us, send them my way.
I've adopted the front of the community center.
Did you do that? I just went there the other day. Wait, so you took all the weeds out? Were all those plants there? Were the shrubs there? The shrubs were there. And what about the mulch? Did Mark bring you some mulch?
But I was weeding and I said, okay, send me some mulch. And there it was.
Oh.
Oh, wow. So I said, thank you.
We just went there Sunday before we were weeding by the sign and I was like, oh my gosh, my husband's like, what? It is phenomenal. I should have known that was you. It's so cleaned. This looks phenomenal. No, this is actually at the community center at the entrance. On the left-hand side, there is an area of soil that was loaded with
We
weeds.
were so tall, you couldn't see what the plants were.
Yeah. So I was,
But anyway,
we were at the community center.
it's your.
Yeah. Yeah. And as you're, where the entrance is, which is kind of halfway through on the left, there was just a weed pile, which was just like, oh my goodness. And,
I have a plan, more plants.
would you like to put some more plants in there?
Yeah, they need more plants.
Okay.
But anyway, just.
All right, well, so,
The list of plants that you like.
so the thing I'm going to say is ask Mark first, because we saved Mark so much money for FAR 4. We saved the town so much money. Well, I mean, we spent our own money, our beautification money there. And so I said to him, you may need to come up with some plants at some point. He's like, of course. So,
Okay.
so go to him first.
Have we talked about a fence there? We've saved some money. Could they possibly redo the fence in front of Fitch?
No, we have not discussed that at all. No, that's a big ticket item. We're talking $100 or $200 for plants, right? About Shirley, like
I
Yeah,
can't tell you
yeah.
because the price of plants is.
gone up
Yeah.
tremendously. Yeah,
It's a guess.
okay.
One of the things the woman I talked to said, perennials, is that we are planting a lot of perennials. I know in the summer, there's a
Yes.
few annuals by the town hall, but
Yeah.
basically we're doing mostly perennials.
Oh, yeah, mostly perennials. Yeah. Yeah, so, okay, so, speaking of the bulb sale, and I meant, I don't even know if we text. I know we call. I don't know if you get texts. I'm not sure which phone number of yours I have, but we would like to pick a date for the bulb sale. And do we know when the bulbs are gonna be here?
Well, they won't in September, October. That's,
Right, well,
so
Right.
it's promoting the whole idea in August. So we need to do a lot of promotion so that people will reserve their bulbs because I've ordered 2,000 this year.
right.
So,
King Alfred?
yeah, well, they are, they're like King Alfred.
Right,
Right.
there's a different place, so they didn't have exactly
Oh,
the
okay.
same, yeah,
From Rachel.
Yeah.
Rachel.
right. So,
In fact, I just called her yesterday and she said, oh, yeah, your order is there. And I said, well, the town gets bills.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
yeah.
we know that.
yeah, Yeah.
We're all King Alfred.
We are like King Alfred, she says. They're not called King Alfred. I said, I want them to be like King Alfred. I want big yellow.
Yes. I advocated for something other than that, but Nancy overruled me because I like other colors, but she is the queen of the daffodil sale, so she gets to pick.
You know, when we fill the village and the town with like 100,000, then you can have. some-
Right. It's gonna be a statement that we have.
Yeah.
Well, King Alfred is a really strong, long-lived daffodil, so.
Yeah. Yeah.
I really want to go with that.
Yeah.
kind of-
So the ones we had 2 years ago,
Right.
I mean, my neighbors bought some, I bought some, and they were ridiculously tall, ridiculously strong, beautiful. So we're hoping these will be just as good. And the bulbs themselves were huge. So,
We'll blame Rachel if they're.
well, it's, what is the place up in Lebanon?
11, right.
I want to say Prime. It's not Prime. Pride.
I'm gonna
Right.
start doing
Yeah,
some
Pride's Corners.
posters. I'll do posters. I'm just gonna put some things out in the local papers. And if you want to put something on social media, it's like, it's coming, it's coming.
So, but we need a date, dearest. We need a date. So there's 5 Saturdays in October. I think we had it
I'll be sure I have those. I don't
October
know.
3rd. Oh, so she couldn't give you a date?
Do you want to do you want something? in the
Everything
day?
is delayed. It's probably on the boat out there. I don't know.
Okay. All right.
So I
Well,
will let you all know. I'll let you know
Okay,
as soon as
if you-
she lets
okay.
me
Okay,
know.
so I-
all right.
you know,
Now
for the
I
paper.
will, do you want to reach out to the senior center, or actually let's call it Thrive 55? And just see if all of those Saturdays are available in October. We can't really plan for September, I would think.
No.
Yeah, and just see if there's anything going on, to see if any of those Saturdays are off the table. And obviously they will put something, once we have a date, and they'll put it on their sign. Thank you so much. Okay, we also had a really fun time 2 years ago when we did this. We went to Nancy's house, and it was me and Leanne and Nancy, right? And then a friend of yours, right? And we bagged up the bulbs. We had, because you have to count them out. I think we did, what, 15 bulbs, 12 bulbs for $15 a dozen. And we were just there bulbing away, bagging away, and Nancy's very lovely garage, and it was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
We should again reach out to Sift for the bags.
Yes,
They
I
were so
will.
nice to donate. the
Yes, they
bags.
donated the
And then we
bags.
have those nice seals done up.
Oh, yeah, actually, Bruce did the seals, didn't you? Didn't you do the seals?
What's that?
Didn't you order the seals? I have that,
Stick-on seals that
that we had for the bulb sale. I think I have it in my notes. You didn't do that? I have it in my notes.
Mhm.
Hmm.
Anyway, that's what we're going to do.
Okay.
So we'll have repeat
Okay.
performance.
Awesome. Okay, lovely. Looking forward to it. So I will, gosh, that's a lot of, okay. I'll ask Sif for bags. All right, Leanne
Just
is,
do it. You're right.
um,
Do it. I just remembered.
yeah.
I was trying to think, did I do that? Yeah, I did.
Did you go to the photo shop?
I used one of the local people
Yeah,
over there.
and I even have how much it cost. It was probably like $45
Yeah,
this
it
year,
was
like
really
$450 or
inexpensive. And
something.
it did right away, too.
Yeah. We moving on to put in cups, which is something that Leanne was gonna talk about. Leanne couldn't make it because she's going to, she's spending time with her grandson who's going off to college. So I said, we wholeheartedly support that, so we're not gonna talk about that today. I am just bringing up that once again, I would love to have a chair or co-chair, and just bringing that up. Going on to new business, I just wanted to give you guys an update on Fort Hill, because right now, first we got our beautiful limber pine, and this was really, I drove by that area, the top of Fort Hill Road, and was it 215? Long Point Road, is that 215? Where the big stoplight is at the top of the hill. I drive by there all the time and never thought about it. And then Missy moves to town and she's like, that is a mess. And I was like, it is? I drive up there, I'm like, oh my gosh, that's a mess. So our wonderful tree warden took down the dead tree, the very large pine tree that was dead. And then Aline and I went and looked at that area and we're like, oh my gosh, beneath piles and piles of weeds were some actual living shrubs. And so the town the highway department met us there and ripped the heck out of all the disgusting weeds that were covering everything. And we've got hollies, inkberries, rhododendrons, and a local landscaper said, I can give you a pine tree, and it gave us a tree. And I wanted something that was bicolor, and so he suggested this limber pine, which is going to be gorgeous. And then there's a lot of space there and there's a lot of weeds. So he's like, well, I've got some spirea. So he came and he put them in. He put in a beautiful little clethra, which is a native. And we've been, Jim and, well, myself and Sharon have been taking turns watering. So everything looks great so far. And it is very, very hot. We plan on doing a major mulching Thursday if it's not raining. And then we're just gonna try to we're gonna have to try to find some other kind of planting that's gonna compete with that mugwort and mile a minute pine. But right now, we're keeping at it. We're watering the plants that are there, and we are removing the weeds. We are going to put it.
Where are you getting the water?
We're bringing it in our car.
What
Yes,
happened to the water truck?
the water truck is not for the beautification committee, I don't believe. He's really stressed, because he's watering for us in Mystic, not for us. He's watering for the town in Mystic, and he's watering for the town in Groton, where the new sign is once a week. And I just saw him because he's helping us with the top of Fort Hill. And Jeff says, yeah, I didn't think it was going to be a big deal to water once a week if it didn't rain, but of course it hasn't rained. So he's been watering and rotting both sides of town. So we haven't even asked. I haven't even asked, because I keep thinking it's going to start raining. It's going to cool down and it's going to start raining. And next year it won't need any water. These are all shrubs that should naturalize. And yeah.
Well, how many gardens total have we done? Like throughout the town?
Oh, Lord. Well, I can't say it's a garden. I'm just saying we put in azaleas, starting kind of at the beginning of what I think of as our corridor at Avery Memorial. And then, Shirley works quite a bit at the, out of the goodness of her heart at Town Hall. We did.
In front of this building, we've worked.
Well, I'm going down the line. So Sutton Park, top of Fort Hill, the Annex, and also downtown Mystic, 3 spots. John Kelly, the planter in front of Bank Square Books, and the public bathroom on Water Street. All those 3 spots are being maintained by people who are not on the committee, but who are, like, we have a lovely couple who are carting water down the street in a wagon.
So for next year's budget and ahead, that should be one thing we should recommend, which would be a minor thing that we recommend to the council to add that, or the town manager to add that to the budget. To have, I think Mark Berry talked about that. He was out,
What, watering?
yeah, to water during the summer, especially this year because it's very dry. You don't really want to have to depend on people that may not be able
No.
to do it. I mean, it's great if you can do it.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Utopia.
Yeah.
But we might want to today enjoy.
Well, most of these places won't need to be watered next year. Any planters will need to be. And,
Trees, what about trees? I don't hear any mention of trees.
well, we don't have any money for trees right now, so if we get the grant, that's a totally separate issue, so I don't really wanna. Then yes, they will need to be anything we plant that's a shrub that we plant has to be watered.
And the way the grant was written was broadly enough to strongly encourage and expect that our committee will lead it, but the town is going to, hopefully will use these funds to, if we have to maintain, and that has to be in the funding, we have to figure that out as we go along, because it's gonna be 4 years, we're gonna have to do this project, if it gets approved,
if it gets approved.
because of the
And
economics.
yeah, we think
to the
maybe we'll
district.
start getting some information in September. Is that what you heard? Maybe September we'll start. I haven't heard from Kevin. I'm sure there's plenty of projects, so I don't know how long it will take to be approved.
In
for them to-
Massachusetts, they've received a lot of funding up there, and some of them even got some budgeted staffing numbers from the ARPA funds. I think they got theirs.
I think they do
before,
that,
And it's just, I mean, they're doing great things up there. And when I looked, I was gonna do a presentation, but we didn't have time to do it. It was hard to do a PowerPoint. But when you look at all these towns, what they're doing, and incorporating the historical nature through buildings and sculptures and artwork, in addition to plantings, it really helps to maintain a town and encourage good development and good residential living. And that's what I get excited about, because I bought a house here because I want to stay here. I grew up here, you know, so
I
that's.
just don't know if we're there yet,
I
unfortunately.
think
Preaching to the
Yeah.
choir.
Yeah,
you
yeah,
know,
yeah.
We're doing the
Yeah.
best we can.
Get out there and talk to people.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do when I'm out there.
I'm working on committee reappointment questionnaires, so I'm just pretty much done with that. And then we wanted to talk about a meeting schedule change, as well as the possibility of not meeting every single month. That doesn't mean that a subcommittee could not meet, but I am wondering if we really need to meet every month, like if we could skip December, January, and February.
Many committees, depending on how, if you have bylaws, a lot of committees, I think like political committees, if you meet quarterly, that's your requirement, but whatever the committee wants to do, I mean, I can meet right now on Mondays, it's good for me, but I don't know how everybody else is, so that's always changing, so.
So that's 9 times per year. So that's the first thing I would like comment about, 9 times per year. Andrew,
I'm good for Mondays right now, if that
no, I'm
changes.
talking about like how many months a year. Yeah.
Oh, I think, you know, sometimes you do need a month or two off, but I just don't want us to get where if we have information, you can always call it.
Right.
If we have
Exactly.
something that's coming up, you call the meeting and
Have 9 scheduled meetings
Yeah.
on our
Yes,
agenda. and that's
exactly. Thank you,
always
Nancy.
have more.
Yes, exactly. But I really need some flexibility.
Yeah.
And it would be good if you skipped a month, like if you did not 3 months in a row, but possibly do a December, skip January and into February. I wouldn't skip 3 whole months.
too many. it
Yeah.
might get- Something might come up and then it's gonna be on you.
December and January.
And those are busy months for people's families,
Yeah.
and holidays and things like that.
Everybody's in Florida.
Okay. Well, all right, so I am thinking for me personally, very focused on myself, was December, January, February. You're saying you'd prefer to no more than, not to have 3 in a row. All right,
Then you have an option if you wanna put
Put
it
it
in another
someplace else,
spot, like
right.
if it's something in July and everybody's busy with the holidays.
actually, July has been a funky
And people come up
month. I
and visit.
can't really do a lot. It's been so hot, and in August now too, but we can still do planning, but
Spring is really the key, isn't it?
yes, I think so.
I mean,
But since
that's
you're
when we
doing all
wanna,
the planning in the winter.
yeah,
Since we're
exactly,
doing a lot
yeah,
of planning,
I agree,
so I
yeah.
don't
Well,
want to have.
but
3 months.
we've
But
been,
depending if, and if they are subcommittees, they can still meet.
right,
Right.
And report at the next board.
yeah. Yeah,
Look
so
like,
yeah, things don't have to like stop,
Yeah.
you know. Okay, yeah, you're right, spring is key. The other thing, when I've looked back on some of our meetings, it's like we've talked about stuff and gone round and round, and like, you know, all the different things we found out we couldn't do, like paint a sidewalk, or something like, not paint a sidewalk, a crosswalk, excuse me. And we spent a lot of time looking into things that we couldn't do. So I thought, how well are we, how lengthy are the meetings, and how well am I taking your time away from you? I'd rather have us doing things rather than talking about stuff and finding out we can't do it.
Well, I think you've laid the groundwork really well, though. I think the groundwork has been laid. It's been a learning experience for all of us to be on this committee.
Uh-huh.
But I think everybody has just contributed so much that I think next year it's going to be a little bit easier because we've got the drill down and I
Yes.
think we have a direction too. I
Yes.
think we've got several firm directions to go in. So I would go with 9 meetings for the year and skip December and January, maybe skip July or something like that, because everybody's on vacation. Right.
Yeah, okay, all
We
right.
need to plan for the spring and those months before.
Yeah,
are
right.
really
Okay, that's a,
Always-
I really appreciate your guys, I appreciate your input. Thank you. Okay, okay. See, this is why we have committees, so that everybody's good ideas, come through.
I had a question off the, well, I think, did we get NIP money? Did that come
That-
into us?
Wow, what a nice segue,
Oh, I'm sorry.
Miss
I
Codianne.
didn't.
We are going to now talk about, no, this is perfect, the budget, well, because, and the budget, I just wrote it in, it wasn't on the agenda, I just realized I needed to do it. Because I talked with Rachel in my reappointment discussion, and she said, I think there's NIP money, so let's go over that. All right, so first of all, this is not NIP money. First, we're gonna go over beautification committee money. So we have our total right now for our committee, not including NIP money, is $6,981.89. That is 4,000 given that we received from the town in for fiscal year 2023, and $2,981.89 that we had already from previous fundraisers. Okay, so that is how much we have altogether, is about $7,000. NIPS money, and I'd like to reiterate, that's how much we have. If we have a reason, if we have something we want, I am not averse to going in front of the council, but it needs to be very specific. Okay, okay,
Yeah.
so now NIPS money. So NIPS money came in. It is $16,923.35. Okay,
16,000.
16,000. Yes.
Almost 17.
Yeah, almost 17,000. Let's say 17,000, right? We got almost 7 and almost 17. So this can be used for environmental cleanup, litter control. It can reduce trash buildup. However, I just wanted to mention, I was doing a little research. It is up to local leaders how the money is spent. However, it stipulates that it must pertain to reducing trash or litter. The text of the law includes suggestions. They give different suggestions, but does not include deadline for spending funds or oversight to ensure money is spent properly.
Does not. include
It does
oversight.
not, no.
Scary.
They are looking, but what the goal of this is to keep roadsides, waterways, and public spaces litter-free. That is what they're trying to do with this. Bridgeport, in the article, they're focusing on sustainability and, quote, green programs to address the impact of climate change. Now, it's very interesting. And most towns, are just receiving this and aren't really sure what to do with it yet. But there's no time frame. They're not going to take it away.
Doing it on sustainability and not litter cleanup and.
Well, so that's what Bridgeport has like a sustainability coordinator, which I
We're
believe,
getting now. too.
if they can find anybody to hire. I don't know if they found anybody yet, but I am not sure that I could not, I was expecting a list of rules and regulations of what you could and could not do. It is basically, should pertain to reducing trash and litter and keeping roadsides, waterways, public spaces litter free.
Good, let's get a hold of the blight officer first of all.
Well,
All right, wait. So I need someone to take this on. This is not, it landed in my lap. it is going to be removed from my lap. So, I am looking at a certain person who may want to be interested in this because I think, one of the things that Rachel suggested, once again, this is a suggestion, is the highway, litter cleanup, you know, and that's something that I know bothers a lot of people, coming off of certain exits. But also, you know, there was a while ago, there was a trash container that looked like a fish. That would, you know, have to be emptied. I mean, there's a
Sounds like it
lot
could
of
be
things.
used for a lot of things, and I
A
think a
lot
lot
of
of it
things.
has to be public information. Getting public information out there to schools, to kids, to adults, to groups. That's where.
It's a PR campaign,
That
basically.
is
Well,
That needs to
part of
be
the
a-
It can be PR, that can be a piece of
Part
it.
of the money.
And,
Exactly.
and then, but the other thing is like, we've been, picking up cigarette butts out the wazoo. It is horrifying. We did, a concerned citizen was able to get a one of those butt depositories put down in downtown Mystic near the, Water Street public bathroom. And the town's very happy to do that. But there are cigarette butts everywhere. So I'm like, oh my gosh, I don't know why people don't think that that's littering. That to me, it drives me crazy, but this is something that is we can do.
Is this going in our pot of money, or are we going to be buying for this money? with
Nope, it's
conservation
it's
groups?
beautification committee.
It's
Sorry,
all
Sam.
right.
You know, one question I have is the most egregious litter we have is on these highways. The exits and the entrances are really, really terrible, and it reflects on everybody here.
Yeah.
Although we know it's not everybody here that does it, but it's on state property essentially.
Yeah.
And I'm not
So-
quite sure how we can manage
Well,
that.
so
I'd love to
thanks,
clean that
thanks
up.
to Sharon, she got me in contact with the DOT. There's a Groton DOT. And I asked them to trim back the weeds at the islands at the top of Fort Hill, and it was done within 2 days. And he's,
Really? Wow.
no, Sharon, who
Oh,
is
Sharon.
with this committee, she was the one who had it.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know. And so now he's like, well, you know, he's happy to work on stuff, but they need to be asked to do things. They don't proactively go and trim stuff. So
This is the Groton.
I mean, would they do that kind of stuff?
it's state DOT, but they have a office
Oh,
in Groton.
Groton. Oh, okay.
Would they
So,
pick stuff up though?
no, so what I'm wondering, I'm thinking that we could work with that person.
Yep.
Because you have to coordinate with that person. It's not somebody at the state in Hartford. It's somebody at the state right here in Groton. You work with that person and then they coordinate if
I didn't know
you
we had
need.
anybody like that.
Yeah, I didn't know either. Thank you, Sharon.
Nobody would know.
Well, no, very responsive, but there's a lot of stuff going on in this town and
That
they
would be
need to.
wonderful if we could get that big.
So that there's immediately someone to reach out to say, is this possible? How do we go about having non-state employees work on this? Or possibly if we say, can you do this? Could you please clean up this area? Now,
Or schools, like Nancy was talking about, getting this out to the public, like schools, kids, you know, some kids that are adept at this kind of picking up litter, maybe under the aegis of the state or our Groton DOT person.
I don't think they want lay people. They don't want lay people. Yeah, I mean.
Do they have a staff of people that do this, or is there just one person running it?
He has a staff.
That's a good contact for the committee too.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
I like
I
that.
think that's great. and I-
Maybe they have some ideas on how to do it too. We don't have to think of everything.
We can invite them to the next.
Another area that need attention is the boardwalk.
Yes.
Because of the
And
water.
that's another
Wow.
thing that was, because you had cleaned that up at
Yeah.
one point and there's a lot of mess under there. I'm not sure though, what does that look like? Do we?
But the town
Hire
I know
somebody, do
takes
we-
care of both sides of the
Yes.
boardwalk.
Uh-huh.
So,
And if I could just mention, there aren't enough trash cans because no one's picking the trash up.
Yeah.
So we have to somehow work with the town to
Right.
get more trash
Right.
cans in these key locations.
Yeah.
mhm,
But that's exactly this kind of thing
that's,
now.
that's
And
exactly.
what was interesting is Rachel specifically said that she had talked with Greg Hanover, who's the director of Public Works. And he's said that if we had these big fish trash cans, that they were, she was thinking, oh, we're gonna have to hire, the waste company to pick it up. And he said, no, we can do it. But so certainly, especially if we could have funds to have,
Pay for the trash cans then? Is that-
I think it would pay for the trash cans and maybe even attractive trash cans with some type of attractive.
How about some creative signage all around town?
Once again,
People don't read signs. Mark Berry even said so. They don't read them.
No,
Um,
I don't agree with that. I mean, I've been in plenty of places where they have signs up and nobody litters.
Oh, if it was something that you could get a police to agree
Yeah, I
to give
wouldn't-
somebody a
I
ticket,
think
I would
when I-
love to see one of those. Like if you're caught,
Yeah, they should. Well, we have
We
all
should
these
have it.
cameras now that are instituted on all the state highways. Not that we want the police to be
Yeah.
sitting there doing that, but, we did the volunteer cleanup in the spring. It was pretty successful. I had a couple neighbors' kids that were throwing stuff down in their yard. I said, "Try and clean up the town. What you want, pick up your garbage?" And they actually did. Went around the block. I said, good job. So it is public relations, but it's also getting staffing to regularly pick up the state and town roads. And,
yeah, I don't think that happens. They aren't, I mean, so-
somebody has to,
Yeah.
we need to invite this person to this meeting.
Yeah. that'd
I
be
want to
good.
have a talk. Because,
It's like cutting back the grass on Route 1.
yeah,
If they could cut it, again, going up to Hills Mystic,
Uh-huh.
over to the Ice House.
Uh-huh.
One of the neighbors, one of the houses on the south
Yep.
side, the guy has finally cleared out that path.
I saw that.
And we're hoping he shames the neighbors, because I walk my dog there, and it's Chick Haven, right?
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
It's beautiful when it's done, but if the state is, the people don't like, because they had to pay for that sidewalk they never used, so
Uh-huh.
that are there.
Uh-huh.
But if the state would go with their arm thing
Uh-huh.
and do because when I rode my bike from my house all the way here, you could do a giant bush hog.
Yeah, yeah.
I
Now,
think the
and there's
state-
also aren't there
this-
big
this-
limbs there too that
Well,
would have been, I mean, once again, they need to just, that's a place that bothers me too, Jim.
It's whatever would work with, if they could, I said, hell, I'd go with friends with chainsaws. If I could have the truck,
Uh-huh,
the state to dispose of instead of
Yeah.
making.
Yeah.
20 runs to the-
yeah.
Here's what I think should happen. I don't know if it's a good
I'm
idea.
sorry, but I need to.
Yes, okay, all right. It's, what time is it?
See you later.
It's 7:39. Aline, thank you so much. Let me just tell you before you leave that our next meeting is September 12th. Okay, here, it's gonna be the other one, but it'll be here at 6:30. Okay, so just, okay, let me write down this 7:30. Okay,
Same time on the phone.
yeah, 6:30.
So Cindy, we need more people on our committee, whether they're, what category they are. I don't know what category they are, whether they can vote or volunteer, but it seems like we need a larger group of people. We need to start inviting people who are workers, who are interested. I mean, you sound great to me. You really do.
So Jim's been doing a lot.
I have at least another year till I want to join.
So before, I agree with you on that, but
Yeah.
before we do that, I wanted to mention that for the next meeting, if we could put on the agenda, this DOT liaison person for Groton.
Yeah, I don't think we need to invite a DOT town employee, DOT employee to come to a meeting at 6:30. I think it,
I disagree with that. I think they need to be here because I think there's no
Well, I
way.
think if
we're
it's a
not-
NIP committee, I don't think we all need to meet with.
Well, then
Yeah.
you're not gonna get the results that you want, I don't.
but what do we need to talk to him? If you ask him
Because
to
you
do
can- if
something
you
and
have a
then,
Plan, then they're gonna be more inclined to say, this is what we can do and this is what we can't do. If you want to do it individually, I can call them and say, we've been trying to do a median divider for like 2 years now.
Yeah.
It's a little bit ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's a little
but
bit
he
ridiculous.
specifically said but routine maintenance like this
Right.
isn't something that They do it when
Right.
people ask them.
Right, and how did we know that? Who were we supposed to call them? We
Get
called
them on
many
the median
people.
divider now.
That's what I'd like to do,
Call
but I think that that's piecemeal is what I'm trying to say. If you have a plan for the committee leading it to push. We talked
If
about
we
that.
identified certain dividers, like when you get
Yeah.
off to exit 88, right in
Exactly.
front of the Pequot Health
This is
Center,
what we
that's the
want to
first
have
thing you
done.
see.
I mean, you can do it.
It's
just-
terrible dividers. So
I don't
if
want to
we
be the one to
had
decide it by myself. It should be a committee.
a list of
Do it.
dividers, that would be good to go to him. and
Why don't we
say,
call him and just ask him what he might prefer? Is it a he?
Yes.
And say, would he be willing to come here or would he like us to meet with him or?
I can do that.
I already got his. info.
I mean, but to have
Okay.
$15,000 to spend on one of the major problems in town, that's unbelievable.
Why is-
Really, we can do a lot with that
No,
creatively.
okay, because somebody went to the state website, put in a request.
I
and-
put in a request 4 months ago to adopt roads. I have heard twice from the town, the people are on a leave of absence. I've had no callbacks. I put a email to the state of Connecticut. I have heard nothing.
Mm.
Nothing back from the state of Connecticut. And these are volunteers, people out there that we're trying to help and not costing any money. I heard nothing.
Mm.
So you have to, what's that?
Now we have the local.
Now yeah, so we can go forward, but this is ridiculous. This is not, these people are getting paid.
Okay, but so
You know
I'm
what I
just gonna say, as the chairperson, this is bigger than I
No, I'm
want to
not-
go, you
It's
know?
not putting it through to you is just frustrating.
Right.
Because people are making whatever they're making per hour or whatever and I know they work hard. We just had the drains done on, all the way up to the subbase almost.
Yep.
And there's like weeds all over the place. It takes a weed whacker and a few minutes of their time to do this. They're getting a lot more money.
And again, it's a
Yeah.
state. help.
It's a
Yeah, Yeah, well, this is what I was saying about priorities.
I know,
What
I'm
are
just-
the priorities are not this.
But I mean,
So-
I'm glad to hear that things are being done and it's good to know that we have this person. And I certainly don't understand why, after all these committees we've been meeting, this wasn't told to you as the chair or through some of the council members or our state representatives. What is going on here with the communication in this town?
I
What is
just talked
going
to,
on
I
here?
just talked
We
to the
just-
right person at the
we
right
just-
time, I guess,
We
you
just
know?
built a multi-million-dollar school and we don't even want to clean, we can't even get a hold of a person to clean stuff up. Like what Missy's been saying, my God, we can't even go into the town. It looks, some of this stuff looks so horrible. And we have people that can do this, but they have to be asked. This is
Yeah.
crazy. This is
Yes.
crazy.
Well, once again, it's not a priority.
Well, it
This
should be a
is-
priority.
comes
We have to
back
push it.
over and over again, that it's not
can't
a
be
priority.
But it will be
You
a
know,
priority.
yeah,
It will
it's
be. I
gotta
think
be
you'll
done.
find, I just went to the economic
Development.
development meeting
Uh-huh.
and the consultant that they hired brought that back several times. There's light everywhere when you drive around. And anyone who might want to come to town, like Trader Joe's, they look at this stuff. In addition to all the other staffs that they need, they
Yeah.
do look around.
I heard that it was mentioned that the consultant was actually a little surprised at the lack of, looking in downtown Groton, we're talking now, that things were a little,
It's a
they
polite-
didn't use the word shabby, but that's what I took away.
He talked about things that we tolerate. Why are we tolerating that?
Right.
And we've got the formula in, Mystic that works. It's
Uh-huh.
very successful. So we should be trying to replicate that, what you said.
Yeah.
And that means caring and. I think people are listening.
Letter to them. Costs, 5 minutes. Not
Yeah,
a
No,
real that-
he wants our help. He asked for my help. He asked for my help. He didn't,
Right, no, I'm saying.
anyway, so.
You know what I'm saying, though, to
Let's
make
get
it
it done.
push it.
Let's do it. I'll be on the committee. I'll talk to him.
Would you have a phone number for this person?
I do not.
What's the person's name?
Yeah,
I- you
that's a
guys-
gift from God. I mean, we ought to
Yes.
follow
Greg
up on it,
Hanover is the-
regardless of.
No. It's-
I agree with you, Andy.
Right.
Yes,
Is there an office in this building that's this person?
no,
So
there's,
they just kind of.
no, I
meander in?
don't know. I
Oh.
have
Oh,
all the
okay, you
information
do it,
on my
okay.
computer. I don't have
Gotcha,
it in
gotcha. No,
my
I
brain.
was gonna call them
Yeah.
tomorrow. I mean, we'll get this.
I didn't call them, it's email,
Okay.
email.
all right.
Anyways, and, all right, so we have talked about budgets, we've talked about, about the nip bottle stuff. And is there anything else before I close the meeting? It's 7:46.
Can we talk to the blight officer at some point again? Just
Once again, well, who's me? Who's we? I don't want to talk to the blight officer. Missy has spoken to the blight
Yeah.
officer, right?
Who is the blight officer?
That's why I'd like to see him.
I don't have his name in front of me, but he works right here, right in this building. And you can see him quite easily. But, and he has a report that goes out, all the various complaints he's working on. So he did send that to me about a month ago, all the various spots that he's received complaints on.
But didn't you ask him about coming to a meeting
I
and he
did.
declined, right?
Well, I can ask him again. We didn't have a date, so it was a general question. I think if we had a date, maybe, get the time. I can find out again.
Maybe
Might give
it's
me a date, might
bigger, I
give me
don't
an
know,
hour.
they have to, because they involve fines and stuff like that. but-
Well, I mean, I don't think you can require someone who
Right.
works for the town to come to a meeting at 6:30. I mean, that's
Well, what
just
you
not
have to
something
do-
you,
Meeting
right?
during a
I'm
Tuesday. I would
It's on the
go.
public
go
works
during the
committee
day.
for the
We could have
town.
2 or 3 of us. go.
Yeah, okay, So we need to,
Does the blight officer work for economic development or planning or, you know?
Planning, isn't it?
Well, he
Or-
has
or
many
public works.
different other
Yeah, hats.
zoning, he has many
Yeah.
other hats that he wears. So I know he's quite busy with the other
Yeah.
aspects of his
Yeah.
job. But I was kind of like just remembering that when I saw him, I was surprised at his demeanor and his looks. He's a very nice looking man. I was kind of expecting a big man, very strong, kind of imposing man. But that's not his only job. He has all kinds of zoning.
So I guess my question is, what are we hoping to?
I'd like to understand his role here in town, first of all. What is his role? And when you receive a blight complaint, how do you follow through with it? What are the options that people have? I have a lot of questions and I can meet during the day. So we do.
Why don't you just meet? Why don't you,
Why don't-
with your questions,
Right.
meet with him?
Okay.
Or have a conversation.
Good.
Yeah.
I can do that. with you and I.
And then we'll report back.
That would be delightful, delightful. That would be great. Yeah, I think these guys have a lot going on, and to invite them to a meeting so he can
All right.
explain his role, I think it's,
Directly, and we'll make-
But if you
Yeah.
have any questions ahead of time, maybe you could just send it to us.
yeah,
You had
to
any specific
Misty or to
questions?
Nancy, send them, send questions. Yeah, that's awesome. Sounds like Nancy's got a good amount of questions though, so, yeah, that would be awesome. All right,
You want to talk numbers, but I don't know if you're all done with that one.
Members,
Of the committee, so.
members, new members.
Talked about
If
that
we-
one.
I talked about it with our town clerk, and she brought up the more members you have, the more people you have to have for a quorum. So she really discouraged it, that 5 people and two alternates is really the way to go. But what I'd like to do is have more ad hoc members. You don't have to attend a meeting. You don't have to vote. We hardly ever vote on anything, really. It's really about ideas. What direction do we want to head? And also workers. You're right. We need somebody, it's like, say somebody who's not, actually, we have a lovely couple who is doing a lot of watering in downtown Mystic, carting water all around. And she's not interested in being on a committee. She's done with committees. She's very interested in specifically taking care of things. Yeah. Getting her feet wet, and certainly having people like that. I also work with a good friend of mine down at the John Kelly statue. She doesn't want to be on the committee. She just wants to make sure that the John Kelly statue looks attractive and maintained, and she really wants to plant some plants. And I said, not until it starts raining again. So these are all citizens who are very interested in our town looking better, but aren't necessarily interested in being a committee member. Shirley I think of her as a committee member, but she's not on I don't know, some people call it the board, and she's constantly doing things. I mean, every single day, I think, as far as you know, unless you're doing something with friends or something, but I see you everywhere and you're doing everything. So she's a doer. So that's
So why
what,
don't we have a category of a helper or doer, whatever you
yeah,
want.
yeah.
We need to think of a creative
Yeah.
name for this category.
And then where do they
We can
find
have their
us? How do they
names
find us?
They can kind of register with us. So we can
Yeah,
all
exactly. And what are you, and also, what are you interested in doing? Are you interested in planting? Are you interested in, anything having to do with litter control? Are you interested in economic development and developing the town? Like, what is your interest and who do you want to work with and what projects do you want to work on? And so I would love to hear some ideas about how to bring people on. Like, I think Jim saw something. Did you see it? Was it something that Rachel posted, like come to a meeting?
Or Facebook or Bernadette.
Yeah. Oh, Bernadette Mayfield too. So we have a mutual friend who's a wonderful gardener. But Sharon came that same meeting. And so now both Sharon and Jim have their hands in stuff.
Get your
I
work.
have contacted the Day,
Uh-huh.
because the Day does a wonderful insert magazine.
Yes, yes.
And so I'm talking with, I forget the name,
Uh-huh.
of doing an article on Groton Beautification Committee, what it's all about. I thought this would be a great way to get people excited about it, volunteering, so I'll follow up on that.
Oh,
and
thank
I
you,
will
Nancy.
have
That's
more
awesome
information
idea.
For you. See if they come out and sit through a meeting. No.
Or come and just see the different areas that
Yeah,
we're
no,
working
yeah,
on.
absolutely.
I've got before and after pictures of a lot of stuff.
Or tie something into the bulb sale, so people that are interested in the bulbs, we can do a description
Right.
and a sign up. Are you available with your email?
With the same issue.
Oh,
Expand the committee that way.
Yeah, yeah,
Well, it's an
yeah.
effort, which we could try.
yeah, that's a great idea, Jim. Even if as they come to pick up their bulbs, excuse me, would you,
Ask them if they want to adopt a garden.
yeah, adopt a garden. Yeah. Adopt your bulbs now, adopt your bulbs now, adopt a garden. Yeah. So thank you so much for thinking about that. That's awesome. All right. Anything else, peoples?
Thank you.
Okay, okay, thank you guys so much. Let's adjourn at
Money.
7:53. Okay, all in favor? Okay, wait, I think I need a movement. Andrew,
Adjourn.
who seconds?
Second,
Nancy, all right. All right, all in favor? Adjourning?
yes.
Okay, anybody opposed? Okay, awesome. Okay. Okay. Yeah, so, awesome. Thank you all so much. Shirley, I've missed you. I'm sorry I haven't seen you for a month. And I think those are mine. I left them with a leaf. Yes, I have to turn everything off. Oh, yes. Okay, we're done. Thank you, Shirley. I'll see you later when it cools down. Okay, we are adjourned. So here we go. End
Why that's still open.
webinar.
Yeah, just-